Anyway, guys, open your books, lesson number 5, please. What's the date? It's August 4th.
2018.
Okay. What time is it?
9:15 a.m.
Thank you. And how's the weather?
It's mild outside.
It's mild outside.
And here, it's mild too.
So let's go. There is a warm-up question here. It's what do you hope for your future? And we have 5 possibilities. What do you hope for your future is what do you expect for your future? What do you want for your future? So do you want to graduate from college, to finish the university? Do you want to get married? Maybe have a family and have babies? Do you want to be a successful professional, to have a good profession, have a good work? Do you want to have plenty of money? Of course not. Or do you want to be famous, like Pablo Vittar famous? So what do you expect from your future, guys? Graduate from college, get married, to be a successful professional, to have plenty of money saved, or to be famous?
To be successful professional.
Okay, there we go. Thanks, Amish. What about you?
To graduate from college.
Graduate from college. What college do you want? Or what do you want to study in the university?
I don't know how to say it in English.
Just say in Portuguese.
Direito criminal.
Yeah, I have no idea how to say that in English too. But that looks like a good profession. And you, Letícia, what do you hope for your future?
I hope to be a successful professional.
Yeah, that's good. Carol?
To be associate professor.
There you go. Karina?
Bem,
What?
to be successful. É porque essa palavra é muito difícil.
Successful.
Successful professional.
There we go. And you, Daniel, what do you hope for your future? To be famous, like a dancer, a singer, soccer player, a famous soccer player. There we go, like Neymar, I guess. What do you hope for your future? Graduate from college. Do you want to study what? History, math? Do you have any idea? No? And you, Ashley, what do you hope for your future? Okay, very well, guys. Thank you. Words in action. I want the definitions of the words in English. So, did you prepare the lesson?
Yes.
Teacher, I prepared. Okay, so let's go. The first word is printer. So what is the definition of printer?
A machine that is connected to a computer and makes writing or images and paper.
And makes writing.
Or images and paper.
Isn't it in paper, maybe?
Eu uso no computador.
Então está
E on paper, certo?
What?
On paper.
Yes, you can say on paper. So a machine that is connected to a computer and makes writing or images on paper. Do you have any doubts in the vocabulary of the definition? Yes?
A machine.
A machine is like this. This computer is a machine. Your cell phone is a machine. It's hard to describe that in English, but any object like a computer or it's electronic and uses energy, it's a machine. Okay? Any other doubt? Nope. Okay. The next one is stapler. What's the definition of stapler?
A piece of equipment used for putting staples through paper.
A piece of equipment used for putting staples in paper. Okay. Do you have any doubts in the vocabulary there?
Okay, staple.
Well, do you know that little things that you use to put two pieces of paper together? So you have the stapler, that is the object, and the little piece here is the staple. Imagine this, you can see this here, right? This is the object. And do you know the little piece that comes here? The little part of iron, that's the staple.
Professor, putting é colocar?
Yes? Any other doubt or questions? No? Okay, let's go for the next. Paper clip. What is a paper clip?
A piece of metal used to hold papers together.
Thank you. Problems in the definition?
Essa que eu falei é a do site, só que antes eu tinha colocado que eu entendi como paperclip, que era, eu botei ao invés de to hold, botei for putting. Aí eu queria saber se poderia colocar to put, sem o ing.
Piece of metal used to put papers together. Yeah, no, it's okay. If you use that definition, I understand. Like this, and you're gonna use it to put the papers together. It's just a little confusing because I don't know if they're going to be held together. So, like this. Imagine the situation, I have 5 sheets of paper here, and I put the papers together. But they are not holding together, so that's easy. Keys. What is the definition of keys? Maybe you don't have in plural, maybe you have only in singular, but it's okay. So what's the definition of key?
One of the parts you press on a computer keyboard to produce letters, numbers, and symbols. É sem o B no final.
What?
Produce.
Okay. Thanks. So one of the parts you press on a computer keyboard to produce numbers, letters, or symbols. Doubts in the vocabulary of the definition? Yes.
Keyboard.
It's this. This is a keyboard. Okay. This is the name of this object is keyboard. And there is another object similar to a piano that is also a keyboard. Okay. No more doubts? No? Okay, let's go for the next. It's a keyboard. What is the definition of a keyboard?
A set of keys on a computer that you press to make it work.
A set of keys on a computer that you press to make it work. Problems in the vocabulary? Any questions?
Esse a set of keys.
Yeah. Usually is when you have many things like the same format, the same way in a repeated form. Like here you have a set of chairs because they are all the same and they are looks like in a line. So that's the idea of here. We have the same buttons in a set. That's the idea.
Nesse caso, set é como se fosse uma organização assim?
Conjunto. Desk.
A table that you sit at to write or work.
One just a moment, a table that is what?
That you sit.
That is. And
At to write or work.
problems in the definition.
Eu fiquei meio coisa com at, só que aí se fosse on, seria sentar em cima da mesa e in meio dentro da mesa.
Yes. So the best one we have is that. Can you imagine that? A table that you sit on to work and to study, you're gonna sit here. So the best one is at. Files.
A box or folded piece of thick paper used to store documents. O que é folded? Ele é folded.
Folded.
É, o que é isso?
Folded.
Morning.
Good morning. Do you remember the video that we saw? I don't know if it was book one. That a guy is trying to fold the paper 7 times.
Ah, sim.
That's the idea of to fold. It's like morning. It's like you have a paper. I don't have any paper here, but you have a piece of paper and you try to fold it. The video was about, is it possible to fold the paper 7 times? That's the idea of folding.
E o que é thick?
Thick. Do you know Lord of the Rings books?
No.
Yeah, this is a book. But if you compare this book with Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings is very thick, and this is very thin. Okay. Any other problem in the vocabulary? No?
Nesse caso, assim, tipo uma caixa de papelão, folded piece of thick paper.
Yeah, I think this definition is talking about those kinds of folder that it's a thick piece of paper that you can open and put another paper inside. That's what I think he's considering. Because you can use also files for documents that you have personal information or important information in a paper. So this definition here, I think it's like I think you see in series that the guy is carrying a file or a briefcase. I think the definition here is similar to that. But I have files in my computer. File cabinet.
A piece of office furniture. Acho que eu escrevi errado de novo. It's a furniture with deep drawers for storing documents.
Any doubts in the vocabulary using the definition?
Esse drawers é o quê?
Drawers. Do you remember that object that you have in your bedroom that looks like this? Thank you very much. I am the new Pablo Picasso. Do you remember that object? that you have in your bedroom, that you put your clothes, you open the door, you put your clothes inside. Usually, inside that, you have a small compartment.
Tipo gaveta, né?
That you put socks, I don't know, underwear, that's a drawer, okay? So usually the difference of a table and a desk is because the table is just this, and a desk you have drawers inside, usually on the side here to use. The file cabinet is pretty much the same. Any other doubts about the vocabulary here? Nope. Okay. Let's wait for the next. Hello there. Morning. Morning, Ava. What is the definition of cables?
A wire that carries electricity or phone signs.
Or?
Phone signs. Phone.
I'm not listening.
Phone.
Oh, phone is it from telephone?
Yes.
Services?
Sign.
Any doubts about the vocabulary used here?
Wire.
A wire. This is a wire. This is a wire.
E a diferença disso para cable?
Probably how thick it is. You can have a wire just like this, or even smaller. That's a wire. A cable would be a bigger one, a thicker one. Any other doubts in the vocabulary? No? Okay, so let's repeat, guys. Printer, stapler, paperclip, keys, keyboard, desk, files, file cabinet, cables. Nice. Let's continue. Interview, address, as, neighbor, plenty of, colleague, seat, terrain. Okay, stop there. Do you have any questions about this part? Some doubts in this vocabulary?
Yes.
Yes. You use this to make a comparison, use to compare. Like, I work as a teacher, okay? Or she works as a secretary. Something they use to compare.
Okay.
Any other doubts? Good. Let's continue. Excited, nervous, bored, calm. And let's repeat the verbs. To feel, felt. To get, got. To look, looked. To quit, quit. Okay. Doubts in this part? No? Yes? Maybe?
Eu tenho uma dúvida, mas não é nessa parte final, na primeira.
Yes.
Porque falou que é usado como comparação, né?
Uhum.
Porém, tem frases que não é usado como comparação.
Uhum.
Por exemplo, tem uma música que canta As Long As You Love Me. E não tá-
If you consider them separated, you're gonna have problems. You have to look that as long as you love me as an expression. Like, I will help you with one condition. As long as you love me. That's the condition.
Ai.
Okay? Because you have to consider the whole as an expression. If you take part by part, you're gonna have some problem. Like long. What is long? So imagine as with the idea of comparison and long with the idea of something being long. It's not going to make any sense in that. So you take a look as an expression, and that's the idea. The condition is you love me. So as long as you love me, I will help you. Okay? Flip the page, guys. To get along, useful expressions. Aí a gente tem exatamente o que você estava falando, Tamires. To get along. E a ideia da expressão vai ser se dar bem.
Se dar bem.
So the expression to get along, se dar bem.
Como que tá aqui na frase, então?
Do you get along well with your coworkers?
Get
Você
along.
lidar bem, você se dá bem com seus colegas de trabalho? Colegas de trabalho. Coworkers.
Não.
No. Like that. Like that, use to continue the examples. Like, do you like to play sports? Yes, I love to play sports. I like to play sports as handball, volleyball, basketball, things like that. Use to continue. Go there. Morning. Okay, please. The idea is coisas assim. Like that. That's why, expression number 3. É por isso que. That's why. Marina Rui Barbosa is beautiful. That's why I love her. Very good. Have a seat. Have a seat like this. Daniel, imagine that you go to my house. And you go to my house and say, hello Daniel, good morning, how are you? And you enter my house and I say, please Daniel, have a seat. So what's the idea? What? Sente-se, have a seat. Repeat guys. To get along.
To get along.
Like that.
Like that.
That's why.
That's why.
Have a seat.
Have a seat.
Okay. I need a volunteer to repeat the first expression. To get along.
Me?
Thanks.
To get along. Do you get along well with your co-workers?
Yes, perfect. Thanks, Tamires. Another volunteer for the expression number 2, like that.
She eats only healthy food, vegetables, fibers, things like that.
Thanks, Lucius. Expression number 3, that's why. Thanks, Anna.
He works pretty hard. That's why he is so
Successful.
successful.
Don't worry, it's very difficult. But yeah, successful. Okay, thanks, Anna. Have a seat. Expression number 4, volunteer, please.
Can't I have some?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Speak up. We are going to substitute the words in bold. So, number 1, it makes me feel happy. We have to substitute happy. So, it makes me feel.
Bad.
It makes me feel bad.
Pessoal, pensando no que a gente falou semana passada, né, das cores, podia ser azul.
It makes me feel blue.
É.
Yes, of course. Do you remember the song?
Aham.
Eu lembro de Ana cantando tudo feliz.
It makes me feel blue. Number 2. It's getting hot.
It's getting cold.
Pode ser esquerdo mais.
It's getting mild. Could be. Not in Alcantara, obviously. But could be. It's a possibility. Number 3. You are as tall as me. Yes. E aí ele está usando exatamente o que a gente viu antes, que era aquela palavra as. E eu queria que vocês abrissem na gramática, no livro de dever de casa, para a gente comentar um pouco sobre esse tipo de estrutura que está ali. Então a gente já viu o comparativo, já viu o superlativo. A memória de vocês está boa? Como é que eu fazia comparativo? Quando eu tenho que comparar, tipo, Marina Rui Barbosa com o Bruno Marquezine. Dizendo que Marina Rui Barbosa é mais bonita do que...
She's prettier than...
E qual era a regra para fazer comparação?
Mais de 6 vezes amor e menos
Isso aí. E a gente viu também superlativo. Como é que era a regra para o superlativo? Eu quero dizer que Marina Rui Barbosa é a mais bonita. It's the most beautiful. E qual era a regra? Menos de 6. Então, olha como é que estava funcionando aqui. Ou eu fazia o comparativo, dizendo que alguém era mais alguma coisa, ou eu fazia o superlativo, dizendo que alguém era o mais de alguma coisa. A gramática que a gente vai ver hoje, na verdade, ele vai colocar os dois em igualdade. Não é que a Marina seja mais bonita do que a Bruna. Ela é tão bonita quanto. Então, as duas estão aqui, ó, em igualdade. Enquanto no primeiro, no comparativo, uma estava mais alta do que a outra, e no superlativo, uma estava no posto absoluto, aqui é a mesma ideia, é no mesmo nível, tá? E para isso a gente precisa da estrutura que a gente acabou de ver na número 30. Simples assim, e no meio eu vou colocar o adjetivo que eu estou querendo destacar. Então, se eu for tão alto quanto Caleb, alto não é tall, I am as tall as Caleb. Agora, se eu quero comparar exatamente a ideia de beleza, Marina Rui Barbosa is as beautiful as, tão bonita quanto. Agora, se eu quero comparar o calor de Alcântara com o calor do inferno, eu diria, Alcântara é tão quente quanto, as hot as. Não houve mudança na palavra que eu estou fazendo a comparação aqui, tá? Nos outros, sim. Aqui, não. Beleza? Volta lá para o número 3 que a gente estava falando. Number 3. You are as tall as me.
Short.
As short as me. E aí, quem é mais alto nesse exemplo que está aí no livro?
Os dois.
Eles dois têm exatamente a mesma altura. E quando eu substituo o short, apesar dos dois serem pequenos, eles são tão pequenos quanto o outro. Okay? Number 4. She felt excited.
Happy.
She felt it. She felt bored. She felt happy. Number 5. He quit smoking.
Drinking.
He quit drinking. Number 6. He isn't as old as he looks.
Young.
Young. Number 7. I need to use the cable.
Pen.
Pen. Number 8. She works as a receptionist.
Teacher.
As a teacher.